We now have the keynote address by Mr. Charanjot Singh Nanda, immediate past president, the ICAI. The topic that he is going to cover is internal audit at the inflection point, from controls testing to trust engineering. An ardent wordsmith and an eloquent orator with the thought process of a societal benefactor, Mr. Charanjot Singh Nanda, FCA, had been elected as the 73rd president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India for the term 25-26. Mr. Charanjot Singh Nanda, a distinguished fellow member, has been practicing chartered accountant for the last 34 years since 1991. Exhibiting outstanding academic acumen, he attained his Bachelor of Commerce degree from MLN College in 1987, consistently securing a position on the merit list at Kurukshetra University throughout his undergraduate studies. Throughout his illustrious professional career, he has been the chairman of many committees and garnered notable achievements. Under his chairmanship, the Digital Accounting and Assurance Standards Board had issued forensic accounting and investigation standards. This innovation showcased ICAI as the first accounting body in the world that issued standards in the area of forensic accounting and investigation. Mr. Charanjot Singh Nanda has been passionately representing India and the profession on various international forums, striving to position India as a global accounting hub. Currently, he is a board member of South Asian Federation of Accountants. We invite you to address the gathering, sir. Thank you.
A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. You have to start this. Yeah. Okay. It will come here also? So, Madam Deepika, the Chairman, President of IIA Madras Chapter, the Chief Guest of the day, who gave a very scintillating presentation, bringing out the basic issues with regard to the inflection point of internal audit, Mr. Lakshmi Narayan, Mr. Vidyadharan, my very dear friend Mr. Paul Jaikar, Madam Uma, ladies and gentlemen. It's a proud privilege and an honor to address such an enlightened gathering on internal audit. I want to tell you that internal audit is my first love. I came to the Council of the ICAI way back in 2004, and the then President, Mr. Sunil Goyal, who hails from Jaipur, made me the founder chairman of Internal Audit Standard Boards. I was close to 7 to 8 times the chairman of Internal Audit Standard Boards before I became the vice president and the president of ICAI. And now I'm chairing the committee AI in ICAI. So, ladies and gentlemen, today's topic is very contemporary. Internal audit at the inflection point, from control testing to trust engineering. The most important thing which I want to tell you is that every time since a child, when I started doing my CA, I learned two things. The first thing, there is an expectation gap by the services which we offer and the services which is taken by the corporates or clients or stakeholders or regulators or government. And second important thing, they always say that we are at crossroads. Times are changing. Everything has to change. But today at this time, I'm pretty sure that things are changing in such a big pace that you feel FOMO, fear of missing out. If you don't stay in the system, after some time you start feeling that things are not up to the stance where you intend them to be. Coming to technology, on which my previous chief guest spoke very elaborately. Technology is something that has changed our life. 12th February 2024, we set up a committee, AI and ICAI, which I am chairing now. Till now, we have more than 35,000 chartered accountants who are AI certified. And when I go for guest lectures or inaugural lectures, I see people at the age of 75 also sitting and trying to learn artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence truly has been blown out of proportion. I was speaking at the IAS summit in Bharat Mandapa, which was inaugurated by the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi. IA will bring us at a perspective where we have the entire information at our hand, which is very important, very crucial. But the most important thing which you need to understand is that what do you do with data? There were times when gold ruled everything. Even today, gold and silver is creating lot of havoc on the bourses internationally. But it is not supreme. There were times when oil, land made a difference. But today the entire difference is on data. But the irony of the fate is that you have data but you can't do anything. I'm reminded of a great speaker on stock market who said that if you have a budget copy 2 days before the budget, you can never predict how the markets will move in tandem with the budget announcements. Same thing is with data. Data will give so many things as an internal auditor. I have to assimilate, I have to analyze that data and go to the audit committee or the board as the case may be, so that they can take their call on the risk appetite, they can take their call on how the functioning or control environment has to be. What has to be their thought on risk framework, these are their thought process. But how I analyze data is very important. And when it comes to data, artificial intelligence is not the sole savior. Blockchains, which has been neglected over some time because the glamorous propositions which AI got is something which is unprecedented. Our blockchains are again a very important facet of internal audit. Moving ahead, Internet of Things, data analytics, cyber security audits, information security audits. You use so much things by technology. How do you know the input which you get is correct? Why do you know information system audits? In the last council meeting which I attended as the president, where we discussed and transacted agenda, we made 13 information system audit standards mandatory. The reason was very simple. The data is coming from so many sources filtered through technology. But how do you define as an auditor, how do you do validation of the data that is coming to your table? Very, very important. If you don't understand that, you are not able to perform. So with this prelude, this background, what is expected of internal auditors? And I am very happy that the IA chapter Madras had bought such a nice, when I read the topic, I was so happy. Internal audit at inflection point, from control testing to trust engineering. One of those topics which is so forward looking. So I straight away come to that topic now. The most important thing which you need to understand is that the environment has changed. Environment has changed on a larger perspective. Earlier control testing, we call more as a post-mortem. We don't want a post-mortem. We want a continuous health check, which will ultimately define how things can move ahead in the right stream. Moving forward with each and every step, why concurrent audit was started. IDFC Bank fraud is spoken at a large level. Why it happened? Continuous monitoring was not there. The Chief Minister has said that entire money has gone back to IDFC Bank's account along with interest, but we are yet to get the official endorsement from them. Yesterday, the share picked up and gave a feeling of resilience that they have come out, but largely, if you go on to day by day analysis, if you go on a continuous monitoring, you are able to move ahead. So when it comes to the environment has changed, the world is changing. Traditional sample-based testing is something which was in past. Today, the entire data needs to be analyzed and exception reporting has to come in. Earlier, when you used to do internal audit, huge reports were prepared. Bank concurrent audit, huge reports were prepared. Nothing of that sort. The bank says, write only 2-3 page executive summary, what you couldn't do. What you could do, what was resolved, leave it aside. We don't want that. So see, the summary-based system has come like summary assessment. And there is a couplet which says, difficult roads lead to beautiful destinations. I'll come back on that at a later stage. But here I would like to tell you, there is the culture of cloud-first architecture. Everything is in cloud, you don't get documents. How you go, you create the control environment that goes to the board. It takes so much time to deliberate, then it comes out, then the entire resolution is done, is outdated now. The second thing, embedded controls. Controls are embedded. Embedded in the system where you see a flash of exception, an internal auditor has to step in. See, earlier the role of, I remember when I joined my career, people used to say, go and become an internal audit. No issue, no disciplinary proceedings for chartered accountants and internal audit was the feeling. But for past 2 years, I was the Chief Justice of 2 benches, and I understand that internal auditor is equally responsible as a statutory auditor. If you go back to Satyam Saga, you will know how internal auditor was brought to book. So very importantly, the entire control process, and if there is a deviation, needs to be called upon, investigated and put into a cross. You don't go on to point points time and again and resolving them. They say resolve at the bud from where it is starting. AI complexity. AI has brought certain complex things. But how you gel them with your audit program, how you gel them with your findings and stop something that is not correct. Speed mismatch. See, in today's time and earlier time, things are moving at such high speed that it is not possible. See, earlier to give solace to internal auditors, we had checklist-based internal audit. Compliance, ye bhi kar diya, ye bhi kar diya, ye bhi kar diya. You feel you have done the entire thing. Today there is no scope of internal audit. If we give a scope, we get a scope. But a person is answerable for each and every process deviation. Each and every, you may say, we have been over the years doing press conferences, telling people that statutory auditor is not a bloodhound. It is not possible for him to bring out frauds, to detect frauds. Same is with internal audit. But whenever something happens, the first person who comes in scanner is the concurrent auditor of the internal auditor. Let us be very clear. So you can't shun your responsibility by saying that it is not a part of the scope. The scope, how you tackle it with technology is very important. And so this speed mismatch which is disturbing us needs to be catered with and a plausible solution be taken into account. The next is limits of traditional control testing. There are so many limits of traditional control testing. The most important is rapid obsolescence. Things become obsolete. It is not possible for you to go and define everything because the entire system and business processes are reviewed on a daily basis. Something that is required is embedded. So how do you define on that? The second is sampling blind spots. Earlier, whichever area question was raised, we used to say it is not a part of our sample. So we came with the guidance that every sample which you take, how you have taken that needs to be documented. So at a later stage when a question arises, we could go and determine that this is the sample which was there and it is not a part of our testing. But times have changed. Now the entire data needs to be analyzed. Manual inefficiency. Person can do everything. See why you need technology. 3 big reasons. Number 1, technology ensures that the monotonous work which you do is not done by you, it is done by the machine. Second, it guarantees arithmetical success. And third, very important thing, computers don't have wives. The work is delivered on time. Very, very important. So very importantly, when it comes to manual inefficiency, the working is impaired and therefore you need the new system of trustworthiness, of trust compliance, trust verification, trust validation. Symptom focus. You have to focus on a particular draw. What are the areas? You find out this is the area where you need to focus. And I remember when you go to audit committee, they say, Mr. Nanda, now you have to focus on technology issues. Now you have to focus on the interest parts. Now you have to focus on how processes are deviated. Now this is not there. On an ongoing basis, on everyday basis, you have to take and monitor all these things and report. And not only report, whatever you see is wrong has to be embedded in the system so it does not reoccur. Speed mismatch. Working on a manual basis, working on a control environment compared to trust environment is totally different. Limited visibility. The visibility is very limited when you do on a control basis, you determine and sample. Here it is a huge overview which you take. Reactive rather than predictive. You have to be reactive. You have to bring out what things are and immediately solve them. Erosion of stakeholders' confidence. The stakeholder confidence is also eroding. So, the evolution of trust engineering starts. What are the 3 bases of trust engineering? Number 1, Prevention over detection. Earlier, used to happy to detect, used to say, I detected this much big things, this much big fraud. We want to prevent. We don't want to go into that painful process of detecting and then taking it to book and saying that it is duly punished. We don't want that. We want to prevent. Second thing, automation as standard. What Mr. Lakshmi Narayan said, he totally focused that without automation, yes, I don't say all of us need to be AI compliant, but a year from now, you'll be designated as a person who does not understand AI. So you automatically go out of the system. If you don't understand technology, that also on an ongoing ground, your professional experience, your degrees will render no benefit. Third, measurable outcomes. Whatever you are doing, how you are creating, and how you are envisaging that thing. I'm reminded here of Walt Disney. When Walt Disney set up Disneyland, he had died 13 years back. The inauguration was done at Anaheim, US. When it was done, his nephew Ray was taking care of that. A reporter said, had Walt Disney been alive today, he would have seen this. Before the entire crowd, Ray rebuked the reporter. He said, Walt Disney saw this 13 years back. Therefore, it is in perspective today. Ladies and gentlemen, this is something which we need today for our initiatives. Evidence, please understand now. Evidence from screenshot to signals. Earlier, we used to see screenshot point in times. Today, the evidence is cloud audit tags, trials, audit trials. When it comes to technology, there is no depth of evidence. It remains there. Email confirmations and manual sign-up have gone now. And SIEM, security information and event management, telemetry schemes have come in to give proper information of deviations of exception reporting. Sample-based, manually collected. Today, it is infrastructure as code state. Static, easily manipulated, incomplete information is now changed by pipeline attestations. So what is the continuous evidence pipeline? We have system logs. We have cloud configurations. The governance starts from defining ownership, data integrity controls and oversight mechanisms to ensure reliability and accountability. Every person at every stage can now be nailed. From wherever it passes, it is clearly documented, it is clearly evident. You go to processing, automated ingestion, validation, analysis of control data stream in real time. The buzzword is real time. Output, dynamic dashboards. Today everything is on my mobile. We did a very big flagship program of ICI, World Forum of Accountants 2.0, where more than 11,500 people participated. Every night when I used to get up at 2 o'clock, I could see how many people were there, how many have registered, what is the system, what are the system. Everything was on a dashboard that gives me information whenever I need. What good looks like? What is better? Today 80% faster time to assurance, we compress to hours or days. 65% fewer repeat findings. We don't want repeat findings. 100% population coverage. Bringing evidences which could change things. We have continuous evidence available. We have preventive controls which dominate over the entire system. We have dynamic signal-driven support and scope. How you don't write a scope, you don't pen down the scope, you look where you need. The system advises here, your involvement or indulgence is needed. What a great area. So internal auditor now has to become indispensable. Organizations earlier used to take it only as a management function. Today it becomes an indispensable function for the healthy running of the organization. Quantifiable trust metrics. You know what metrics will define how you have to move ahead. End-to-end visibility across ecosystems. Every ecosystem can be viewed. Any process deviation, any exception can always be outlined. And faster redemption and feedback loops. Very important. Redemption is done immediately. The new audit object system of trust, identity and assess trust, very important as an internal auditor. Change and release test, whatever is requested, what is required comes out and puts you in the right perspective. Data trust, very important. Information system audit, cyber security audits to validate the data. And third party trust, monitor vendor security posture, integration points. Data flows are very important. trust control framework. I want to very clearly say the basic objective is creating an unbroken chain from policy to proof. Please don't take photographs. I'll send you the entire to madam. And I've sent them already. That can be shared with them. No issues, madam. I have only 2 minutes, so I would like to rush up. What internal audit does and what it doesn't do. It does validate control designs for effectiveness. It defines assurance requirements and test criteria. It creates query and analyze system-generated evidence and reports on trust outcomes to leadership. What it doesn't do is very important. First of all, build or configure production systems. So when you don't build systems, how do you create the fallacies which may have arisen in them? Own or operate security tooling, which is very important. The entire security system needs to report to you for your analysis. Hold accountability for operational controls. Very, very important. Entire operational control, your accountability is there. And last, make architecture or technology decisions. When you take those decisions, things move ahead. Operating model and independence. Now, when you come to IA-based systems, when you come to technology, the first thing is you have to maintain independence. You have to partner strategically to give information that can be used by the board or the audit committee, as the case may be. You need to build IA engineering and establish framework which helps you move ahead. And the last slide of the day, capabilities internal audit needs. Number one, control observance, control observance, each and everything where you find deviation is there. Audit analysis and automation, which will ultimately put across certain functions which are redundant, you don't need to report, and focus only on analytical skills. Signal-based planning, where you need some specific need is required, you can step in. And last is engineering grade remediation. Yes, areas where your expertise is required needs to be quantified and put into the right perspective. So ladies and gentlemen, I'm thankful to you all for giving me patient hearing. It's always great to come and speak before I have gone to your international conference number of times. The level of indulgence and the way you look, listen and understand things is totally phenomenal and adorable. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. A new perspective indeed, looking at data as the next gold and silver. But then again, how we analyze data and making it useful and valuable is no less important. And how to embed technology in audit programs is to be deliberated by each of us. And the key takeaway again on trust engineering is prevention over detection, automation, and measurable outcomes. Thanks a lot, sir. I now invite Ms. Gayatri, Secretary IA Madras, to present Mr. Charanjot Singh Nanda with a memento as a token of our appreciation.